So Ahsoka episode 3 is now out. It's out there in the world. After the next episode, we're going to be halfway through the series. And listen, I have admittedly been kind of focusing on the negative of Ahsoka because there are a couple things in it with the writing that have just been driving me crazy. Really good things. And I thought today, since we had been focusing on the negative a bit, the series so far, and there's more than 5 good things about it, but these are the 5 that have really stood out to me. All right? These are in no particular order, so let's just jump in. We're going to start with the first one, which is Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Hera. Now, I have adored Mary Elizabeth Winstead for a long Hera. By the way, official Star Wars content has pronounced her last name differently. I'm talking about like from official Star Wars sources. Some pronounce it as Syndulla. Some pronounce it as Syndulla, right? Whatever. So whichever way you prefer it, that's all fine. But I love the character. One of the great things about Hera in this show is besides the fact that in all the New Republic, she seems to be the only New Republic official that has any damn common sense. But aside from that, she is both an evolution of the Hera that we had in Rebels, yet the most true to the character that we had in Rebels. Maybe save one that we'll get to in just a few minutes. So I've loved the way they have manifested this character. Whenever she's on screen, she's like communicating common sense, whether it's trying to talk to the government or whether it's trying to talk to two friends having a bit of a conflict with each other. I love this character. Whenever she's on screen for me, the show is working. All right. The second great thing about this series so far is Ray Stevenson's Baylan. This is not just a great villain character for this show. This is a great Star Wars villain because as wonderfulness Jedi look as evil as possible. Like, look at some of the video games that they've had, or even like Darth Maul. Like, Darth Maul was designed as something right out of a demonic nightmare, right? And he's awesome. Loved it. But with Baylan, they decided to go in a different direction, right? He's a little more like Dooku, but less duplicitous. He's calm. He's cultured. And all of that tends to make him all the more menacing to me. You know what he reminds me of? Chiwetel Ejiofor's The Operative from the Firefly movie, Serenity, from the movie version of Firefly, Serenity. That's what I loved about that character, that calmness, and even, you know, a little bit of balance. Like, he's not a straight up mustache twirling villain. Like, even when he was talking about, you know, man, you know, it'd be a shame to kill Ahsoka. Like, there's not a lot of Jedi left. But there's something about that just makes him a really unique kind of villain that we've had in Star Wars so far. And I'm loving his presence when he's on screen too. So I am absolutely loving this character. All right. The third great thing about this short series so far, only 3 episodes in, episode's 3 space battle scene. Ooh, I put that in there as my own little reminder. But it's whenever you're going to have a Star Wars show, right? Whenever you're going to have a Star Wars show, at some point, or a Star Wars movie, you got to have some Star Wars. You got to at some point, and it's a chase scene in space, something like that. You want to get a little bit of that, right? And I thought what they did with that space combat scene in episode 3 was really great. Not the best one we've had in Star Wars, but it was thrilling. Some cool designs for the ships, some cool usages of the ships, some nice callbacks to the original Star Wars and their mechanics. Now, one of the things that remind me of, and this is why I put TIE Defender in there, was that it's still kind of the one drawback the bad guys have always had in Star Wars, right? The good guy ships can take 40 shots, right? They can get hit 30, 40, 50 times. It's like, oh no, we can't take much more of this. But the bad guys, just shoot them once. Just shoot them once. Boom. Now the original, for those of you hardcore Star Wars, swing fighters had shields. But that's where Grand Admiral Thrawn came in. Now, for those of you, I'm going to give you a little background on some Star Wars lore here, right? When the Emperor was getting ready to greenlight the Death Star project, Grand Admiral Thrawn was trying to convince the Emperor to, instead of investing Defender, which was a new version of TIE Fighter, but it was way superior to the standard stock TIE Fighter. It had shields. It could be in a dogfight, and it could be a Grand Admiral Thrawn. The Empire would have won the war. I mean, it's just that simple. They would have won the war. Instead of tying up all their resources into one big thing that could be destroyed, TIE Defenders would have won the war for them. And so, but still, the fight was thrilling. It was good. It was worthy of being in a Star Wars show. So I like that. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, DraftKings. College football fans, are you ready for week one? DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking you up with a can't-miss offer to start the season strong. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on college football and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Anything can happen in college football. Your team could go from unranked to dynasty mode in just a couple of years because change comes fast. The only thing that's a lock is the great offers from DraftKings Sportsbook. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code CAMPIA. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on college football. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code CAMPIA. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Thing number 4 that I've really enjoyed about it, more than I thought, is David Tennant's voiced Huyang, the droid, Ahsoka's droid. Listen, weak or a really good side character. He's a very different kind of droid than a C-3PO, because when it was first but the personality, the balance, the perspective that Huyang brings to the show and to the other characters that he's with is really entertaining and really kind of grounds it all at the same time. And so I'm really enjoying this character being in the show. Speaking of droids, let's go to my number 5 thing, which is Chopper. Now, remember I said Syndulla was kind of the most accurate, and then I said, well, kind of. Chopper is easily the most accurate to its rebels. And I'm just talking about the look of the droid, but the voice of the droid, the character of the droid, the personality of the droid, the expressiveness with his 2 little mechanical arms coming out the side of his head when he's wailing and bitching and complaining about something. There's just a joy that I get. You know, it's a reminiscence. This joy fills me because I'm instantly, taken back a couple of years ago to when I would watch Rebels, and I loved that show. And Chopper is just probably the best anchor out of all of them. Out of Sabine, out of Ahsoka, out of, even Hera. Chopper's that great visual anchor that really does tie this to Rebels and makes it truly feel like a Rebel show. And it hasn't been on screen a lot, but when it is on screen, it brings me a lot of joy. And that brings me to a little bonus point. Really is, even Dave Filoni kind of mentioned to his cast that this really is kind of like the next season of Rebels. It's a live action season of Rebels. And it really is. And it makes some mistakes in that regard here and there. We've talked a lot about that in the last couple of days. But, when something like Chopper comes up or when Hera's on screen, a lot of joy. So the last couple of days we focused on the negative. I thought it was only fair to bring a little bit of balance to the force here and talk about some of the things that I truly have enjoyed about this series. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think so far, now that there were 3 episodes into this new Star Wars series, Ahsoka? What are the favorite things of yours so far that you're really enjoying about the series? Even if there's a bunch of things you're not liking about the series, what are some things that you really are working for you? Whatever you guys think about that, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.